Hello friends, I'm Arpit and I'm here with today's analysis. Today is 22nd of October and we're going to deal with three very important topics which are in news. First is the very important patrolling agreement which has been signed between India and China. Now, as we know that both these countries were under a conflict since 2020 in the Ladakh region. To be specific, the Galwan Valley clashes. However, meetings had been going on since 2020 only, and in 2022 there was a de-escalation in the Patrol Point 15 area. But yes, tensions remained on the Demchok region and the Depsang Plains. In this patrolling agreement, both the countries have agreed to patrol the points which were earlier restricted for India by the Chinese army, which simply can lead to de-escalation. The details of this agreement are not out yet in the public domain. Next is the BRICS Summit 2024. This summit is going to be hosted by Russia in Kazan. Now, the de-escalation efforts in the Ladakh region just happened before the summit. The 2022 de-escalation happened before the SCO summit. So, can we connect the dots? Yes, we can. But yes, this summit is very important in itself because crucial issues like the Russia-Ukraine war or the conflict in West Asia will be discussed. More importantly, four new members will be seen as participating in this summit. These are UAE, Iran, Ethiopia, and Egypt. Iran, being one of the parties in the conflict in West Asia, is going to make this event a significant one. And last is Roopkund Lake impacted by climate change. This lake is there in Uttarakhand. This lake is known for its skeletal remains. Now, this lake is drying, and the reason is climate change. Obviously, it is concerning for the local ecology. The geologists have termed Roopkund Lake as one of those areas or one of those hotspots from where lot of information can be retrieved of the past. The skeletal remains which are found over there are from the 9th century AD. How the life was, how the, I would say, uh, topography of that region was. Maybe we could find about the reasons for those deaths. So, this is what the significance of this particular lake is. And then we will be dealing with the MCQs and discussing the answers to the MCQs of Saturday. Now, the patrolling agreement signed with China. Patrolling is you go on a round, you come back. Actually, the LAC, that is line of actual control between India and China, is, I would say, governed like this only. It is basically, let's suppose this is the line, this is the border. Here is India, here is China. So the troops are stationed over here. They go for patrolling, they come back. They go for patrolling, they come back. This is how this is guarded, and the point to which you are going for patrolling signifies that you have control over that area, that is your territory. So China made inroads into India and China was coming for patrolling inside Indian territory and then going back. So this patrolling agreement, basically the details are not out yet, but an assumption over here is that India would be getting patrolling rights up till that situation which was existing before 2020. As per the External Affairs Minister's remarks this morning, he said that the situation before 2020 has been achieved in the Ladakh region. And the situation before 2020 was this. The situation after 2020 turned this when Chinese forces were coming for patrolling up to this point. So that is what the crux of this particular situation or this particular agreement is. But yes, we need to know the background and we need to understand, the build up to this particular agreement which has been signed now. Well, let's go back to 2020 when this conflict started. Indians were building a road from Darbuk to Daulat Beg Oldie. This green color, now I'm painting it red now, but this green color road on which uh, you know uh, work was going on, Chinese, they objected to it. China is apprehensive of India constructing border infrastructure. Let me be very clear. because China knows that one thing which gives it an edge over India is its border infrastructure, China's border infrastructure, which we are lacking in. And when we are upgrading our border infrastructure, obviously China has a problem with that. And this is the result of this border infrastructure only, which we were creating, this road from Darbuk to Daulat Beg Oldi. Daulat Beg Oldi is very strategic position for India because it gives access to the Siachen Glacier. This is the Siachen Glacier over here. Now, what these Chinese did, this red line which you are seeing is the LAC. The Chinese shifted the LAC inside India. And this is Galwan Valley over here. Actually, the Chinese, as per our understanding of the situation, the Indian armies or Indian government's understanding, Chinese wanted a clear access to this particular road which was being built. China was not taking this road inside China, but China wanted a clear access to this road so that in future, if any tensions escalate between China and India, China should have that edge to, or China should be in a position to attack this road. That is why this shifting of LAC was done inside the Indian territory. And things were there which led to conflict, and the conflict continued till 4 years. In the meanwhile, India secured itself by constructing another road from here, Leh to Daulat Beg Oldi. This too, they cannot have access. This is very far from LAC. So almost this road is also complete now. This Darbuk Shok Daulat Beg Oldi road is also complete. Wildlife clearances have also been achieved for this last week, last to last week. This was in news. So that was the major, I would say, reason of conflict. And India retaliated by banning Chinese apps in India. Some 54 apps and all were banned in India. So things like these happened. But yes, as I said that, the conflict continued after that. And, these 4 years have been a difficult time for both the countries. This is one such time period when both the countries would not like to remember. This was such a time. However, during this time period, there was one, I would say, silver lining. And that silver lining came in 2022 when there was de-escalation from the Chinese army on one of the points. So, some success with respect to disengagement. Indian and Chinese troops kicked off disengagement from patrolling point 15 in the larger Gogra Hot Springs area. So, Gogra Hot Springs area is over here. These are Gogra Hot Springs. So this is Daulat Beg Oldi, this is Galban Valley, the road was being constructed from here and all. So, the Chinese had intruded inside the Indian territory. So this was basically the intrusion of China. This is LAC, let's suppose. This is the road. Road I'll demarcate from black color. This is the road. This is LAC red light. And this is the Gogra Hot Springs region. From here, they de-escalated in 2022. So that was a bit of success, and this came just before the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, which was scheduled to be held in Uzbekistan at that time. But the challenge persisted in two areas largely. One was the Depsang Bulge or the Depsang Plains. Depsang Plains are over here. This circle which you're seeing, this is the Depsang Plains where the challenge persisted. A magnified view of Depsang Plains is this. So this is basically Depsang Plains. This is LAC, which you are seeing red colored, and these PP petrol point 10, petrol point 11, petrol point 12, petrol point 13. So the Chinese were coming up to these points for patrolling, and these points technically are on the Indian side of LAC. So that was the major contention. So this is Depsang Plains. Demchok is basically here southeast of, I would say, the Ladakh region. Here also the challenge persisted. They were coming inside of our territory for patrolling and then going back. So this was the persisting challenge after 2022. And now this patrolling agreement. Now, where is this patrolling agreement applicable? Is it applicable on the existing places like Demchok and Depsang? Yes, it is. So this patrolling agreement, we are having patrolling rights up to the earlier existing LAC, which was claimed by India. This can lead to de-escalation also. The Chinese forces, in the future, this is a step taken, the patrolling agreement. In the future, Chinese forces can, come for patrolling up to that area or that I would say LAC which is claimed by India to be the LAC, or I would say the pre-2020 LAC. So that is a major victory or major I would say event which has happened among India and China. This long-standing conflict now, almost 4 years or more than 4 years, I would say, is moving towards a resolution, we can say. So this is how this is. Does this mean status quo is achieved? They go. MEA did not give further details of the agreement and whether there would be a reversion to the status quo pre-2020 and whether the buffer zones more recently created would continue to exist for patrolling purposes. Mr. Misri, the spokesperson, said that the two sides had reached an agreement on the issue that were being discussed. This was, a very diplomatic way of addressing the press conference. But yes, I was hearing to the remarks of Mr. S. J. Shankar this morning only. And according to the remarks of Mr. S. J. Shankar, he was stating that uh, status quo is achieved. Status quo means the pre-2020 situation is again over here. Well, that is good news for India. Now, BRICS summit. So, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. But, this organization, if I talk about in brief about this particular organization, so the genesis of this organization is in a research paper published by Goldman Sachs in 2001. So in that research paper, Goldman Sachs stated that the 21st century belongs to the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. And they said that whatever growth, expansion of the economies will happen in the 21st century, it will happen in these economies because these are the world's fastest and the largest developing countries. This report was an eye-opener for the leaders of these four countries. And in 2006, the leaders of these four countries met on the sidelines of United Nations General Assembly. 2009, 3 years down the line, they conducted the first BRIC summit that was held in Yekaterinburg, Russia. And 2010, BRIC became BRICS. South Africa was included. Since 2011, South Africa has been attending regular summits of BRICS. 2023, it was decided to include 6 new members. These 6 new members, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iran, Ethiopia, Egypt, Argentina. But yes, Argentina has clearly stated that it is not joining BRICS in December 2023. Saudi Arabia has not yet given any clarity. It has not said yes, it has not said no. However, it is not attending the summit. So till now, we can consider Saudi Arabia is not part of BRICS, but yes, we are waiting for the response from Saudi Arabia. So technically speaking, out of these 6, 4 have only explicitly mentioned that we are going to be part of BRICS and they are here this year for the BRICS summit in Kazan, that is Russia. However, many countries all across the world have expressed their desire to join BRICS. And, it is expected that the formal inclusion of Turkey, Malaysia, and Azerbaijan can start in this year's summit in Russia, in BRICS. So, this particular organization, why it is gaining so much popularity? Actually, it is considered as an organization of the global south. The developing countries are there part of it. And these developing countries represent the global south, which is fed up from the United Nations systems. The United Nations systems, which have been dominated by the Western countries, they are discriminatory in nature. They are, I would say, averse to reforms. So the countries are looking for alternates in the world, and one such alternate which they are looking towards is BRICS. BRICS is also projecting itself at par with United Nations. Like for example, United Nations has financial institutions in the form of World Bank and IMF. BRICS formulated financial institutions in 2014 in the form of New Development Bank and Contingency Reserve Arrangement. BRICS countries are, discussing major issues in the world right now, like the Russia-Ukraine war or the conflict in West Asia. After all, Russia is part of BRICS. Conflict in West Asia, Iran is now also part of BRICS. And if BRICS is able to resolve this conflict or these conflicts, then the stature of BRICS definitely will improve. It will be a big dent on the image of United Nations. So from this perspective, we need to understand this particular grouping. So PM Narendra Modi will attend the 16th BRICS summit in Kazan, Russia. This is going to be there from October 22 to 24, 2024. Now, this is the first summit of the group following its expansion last year. Members: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. New members: Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and United Arab Emirates. An important note is inclusion of Saudi Arabia is not clear, as they have neither denied but the country is considering its membership. It is still considering what to do. But Argentina has clearly denied that we are not going to be part of this grouping. Turkey, Azerbaijan, and Malaysia have formally applied, and a number of others expressed desire to be the members of this particular grouping. Now, what will be on agenda in this grouping in this year's summit? So, first of all, PM Modi will attend the BRICS summit. The main discussions will happen on Wednesday. Now, India views BRICS as crucial for global multipolarity. Yes, the world should be multipolar world. It is a multipolar world, and the interests of all the countries or all the poles should be accommodated. It should not be the domination of any one pole. I'm talking about the West. The Foreign Secretary said the grouping also serves as a vital platform to tackle a range of global challenges like the wars going on, food crisis or inflation, whatever. These kind of crises will also be discussed. Leaders are expected to adopt the Kazan Declaration. So whenever this declaration will be adopted, obviously we will be discussing about this Kazan Declaration over here. Okay, shaping the future path for BRICS cooperation. Modi will be shaking hands with multiple world leaders, including China's Xi Jinping, Turkey's Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and Iran's Masoud Pezeshkian. He is also expected to hold bilateral talks with some BRICS leaders. However, India has only clarified till now that PM Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin will be meeting for a bilateral meeting. Now, this is very interesting. The Prime Minister of India meets the Ukrainian President in the G7 meeting. Then the Prime Minister of India flies to Russia for a bilateral meeting, gets awarded with the highest civilian honor of Russia. Then the Indian Prime Minister flies to Ukraine after the next month. Then the Indian Prime Minister sends his envoy, Mr. Ajit Doval, to Russia for the BRICS NSA meeting, and he briefs the Russian president over there. Now again, the Indian Prime Minister is going to Russia, and he will be talking with the Russian president. Obviously, Russia-Ukraine war will be discussed. Now, are we mediating? Well, actually, the government is not ready to accept this, that we are mediating. Because if we get the mediator tag with us, expectations will be too high. And, mediators, there are chances that we spoil our relations if we are not able to meet the expectations of any of the parties. So, we are preferring to call it communication rather than mediation. So, that is what we are doing. And then next point, while no official confirmation has been given by the Indian government, neither the Chinese government, whether there will be a bilateral meeting with the Chinese president or the Indian prime minister or not. But yes, one thing that has been clarified by the Indian, I would say, spokesperson, that there are or there can be multiple bilateral meetings. Just, things have been left in suspense. Then India aims to build the target of 100 billion bilateral trade with Russia by 2030. The current trade is somewhere around 60 to 65 billion dollars, which we have to increase to 100 billion dollars by 2030. A key meeting in November will be set new sectoral targets led by External Affairs Minister and Russia's Deputy PM. And enhancing cultural ties and people to people exchanges will also be on the agenda of this year's BRICS summit. So we will be obviously covering this particular summit in detail. We will be talking about the Kazan Declaration, and if any significant events happen, we will be talking about that as well. So as of now, this is enough for you to understand about the BRICS summit. Now, Roopkund Lake impacted by climate change. And when I talk about the Roopkund Lake, you could see the skeletal remains over here. This lake is in the Garhwal Hills, Mount Trishul, the base of Mount Trishul. This lake is located. It is famous for hiding hundreds of human skeletons, some with preserved fresh, with some become visible when the snow melts, and these are from the 9th century AD. So this lake is being impacted. It is drying up. So some discoveries and theories with respect to this lake. This lake gained attention when a forest official, H.K. Madhwal, discovered human bones in its frozen waters in 1942. Over the years, theories have emerged about origin of these skeletons. In a 2019 study by scientists from India, US and Germany found that the skeletons were not from a single group that died at one time, but rather represented a mixed individuals who lived over a span of up to 1,000 years. So this is what it says and means. Current concerns with respect to or due to climate change, the lake is shrinking. The shrinking lake is the foremost concern. Forest officials have observed that Roopkund Lake, which covers around 2 acres and has a depth of 9 feet, is shrinking. Sarvesh Dubey, Divisional Forest Officer of Badrinath Forest Division, reported that the lake is shrinking in both width and depth by about 0.1% to 0.5% annually, and this shrinking is due to global warming. Changing weather patterns. Traditionally, the area experienced snow during rainfall, but now more rain is falling, causing loose soil and rocks to slide into the lake. This change is believed to be linked to climate change and global warming. So earlier, snow used to fall during the months of, I would say, the monsoon season over here, because this lake is located at height. But now snow is not falling in those months, rain is falling, and rain is bringing in a lot of loose mud, rocks, and all inside that lake, which is reducing the water carrying capacity of that particular lake. So, this is what is happening. The need for expert help due to recent heavy rainfall leading to increased silting. Officials are reaching out to experts at the Forest Research Institute, that is FRI, which is located in Dehradun, and the Wadia Institute of Himalayan Geology for solutions. So, what kind of solutions they can get? This can also lead to glacial lake outburst floods if no rocks and all or siltation, increased siltation of that lake is happening. The water can spill over and impact the downstream areas. So this is what the concern is. Glaciological insights. A senior glaciologist at WIHG, that is Wadia Institute of Himalayan Glaciology, explained that there are about 1,200 lakes in the region, classified as either proglacial near the front of a glacier or periglacial on the edges of a glacier. Roopkund is a periglacial lake, which is on the edges of a glacier. He said that climate variations are causing changes in snow and rainfall patterns, leading to the flow of loose material into the lake, which reduces its volume and area. So this is the major concern. Snow not falling, increased rainfall falling, and increased rainfall happening, leading to increased siltation of the lake, reducing the carrying capacity of that lake and drying up that lake. Wider impacts. This phenomena could lead to increased greenery in high altitude areas and higher temperatures in the region. In 2022, it was reported that Gangotri Glacier's landscape was also changing due to climate variations. So officials in Chamoli district are noticing similar impacts on other high altitude lakes. So, is there a need for preserving the Roopkund Lake? Yes, there is obviously a need for preserving the Roopkund Lake. Senior scientists from the Birbal Sahni Institute of Paleosciences emphasize the lake's importance in studying past climate events. Analyzing the lake's sediments can provide valuable insights into historical weather patterns and can help us predict the weather patterns now also. He highlighted the need to preserve Roopkund as it is a treasure trove of historical and climate information. So, this needs to be preserved. Now, the MCQs. First question, arrange these places from north to south. Again, this is an interesting question. You should have that map very clear in your head. Pangong Saw, Daulat Beg Oldie, Gogra Hot Springs, Demchok. So, from north to south, you have to arrange. The map definitely should be there in your head. Consider the following statements with respect to the patrolling agreement signed between India and China and mark the correct one. It can lead to de-escalation of conflict in the Ladakh region. It is not applicable to Depsang Plains and the Demchok region. So, only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. Third, the first BRIC summit was hosted by which place? Or hosted in which place? Beijing, New Delhi, Rio de Janeiro, or Yekaterinburg? Fourth question, which of these countries is a new entrant in BRICS? Iran, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Ethiopia. So find the correct combination. Simple it is. And the last question, consider the following statements and mark the correct one. The Roopkund Lake lies in the Kumaon region of Uttarakhand. Second, Roopkund Lake, known as the Lake of Skeletons, have skeletal remains from the 19th century. Only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. Now the answers to the MCQs of 19th October. Which of these agencies published the Global Hunger Index? WHO does not publish it. UN World Food Program does not publish it. International Fund for Agriculture Development does not publish it. So this is going to be the correct answer, but who publishes it? So it is basically Europe-based NGOs, World Hunger Life, in collaboration with Concern Worldwide. So these two non-governmental organizations publish this particular data or this particular index. Second, consider the following indicators and mark the ones which are part of the Global Hunger Index. Stunting, wasting. They are part. Stunting means when the height is low as compared to the age. Wasting means when you are too thin as compared to your height. So these are two forms of malnutrition which are part of it. Child mortality means number of children dying under the age of 5. This is also part of it. Maternal mortality is not part of it. So 1, 2 and 3 are going to be the correct answer. So B is the correct answer for this particular question. Consider the following statements and mark the correct one. GHI tracks all countries of the world. No, the high income countries, there is an inherent assumption that there is no hunger over there. So they are not tracked. So like this year's GHI tracked only 127 countries. So the first statement is wrong. India's score has been improving on the GHI consistently. Yes, this is true. India's score has been improving. Every year there is an improvement in India's score. But yes, India lies in the serious category, which is, very concerning. So this B statement is true. Which of the following neighboring countries of India have performed better than India on the Global Hunger Index? So this Global Hunger Index of 2024, what I wanted to say. Pakistan, no, never. Sri Lanka, yes. Bangladesh, yes. Afghanistan also, no. So Pakistan and Afghanistan are the only South Asian countries which have not performed better than India. Apart from these two South Asian countries, all the South Asian countries have performed better than India. Maldives, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, they have performed better than India. So 2 and 3 are going to be the correct options, and since the A is the correct answer for this. So this is basically it from today's session. I will be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Keep watching the videos, keep attempting the questions. Namaste, Jai Hind.